Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Poetcast Unleashed. I am your host, as always, Nico Vernaccini. This little show is where we get to interview some of the poets of the English speaking poetry community in Copenhagen. We all usually meet every month at Poetry Unleashed, which is this beautiful little event where we read out our poems, and everyone is welcome. If you have a poem in English, you are more than welcome. And today I have our first Danish born English poet, and I want to say a great big welcome to Alex Lindbjerg. Hello, Alex.
Hello, hello. It's actually wrong what you just said because
Okay,
I'm
correct me, please.
Canadian. I'm Canadian born,
Okay,
but I am Danish. I've lived here all my life, but I'm Canadian born.
you have Danish parents, but you were born in Canada.
My mother and that side of the family is Canadian,
Okay,
so all my siblings are Canadian.
where from?
Simcoe, Ontario.
Okay,
But yeah, I've been there twice when I was 6 or something.
right. Do
So
you
the
have any?
Canadians come here, and we don't go there
Do you
for
have any
some reason.
special connection to Canada? Or?
Nah, not at all. Actually,
No,
I know that the Blue Jays are a team, and the Raptors. That's kind of it.
that's it. And poutine is a
Yeah,
dish,
exactly.
right?
Fries with brown gravy or
Yeah,
something.
and cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but that's kind of it. I'm more Danish. Like I didn't even renew my Canadian passport,
Okay.
but I exploited my Canadian passport or citizenship, so I didn't get drafted for the Danish army.
Right.
But but that's kind of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So afterwards, I didn't really have any use for it, so I just didn't renew it.
You've been part of Poetry Unleashed how long now?
A year, I think,
Yeah.
little under a year. I have no idea why I showed up. Actually, I just did at some point.
How did you hear about it?
Instagram, I think.
Right.
Yeah, I can't remember. Like so many things has passed since. So
Yeah.
like we've had so much fun that the origin surpasses my memory. But I thought,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, but I thought like that the English poetry was just a new challenge for me. Like I
Mm.
like challenging myself in the poetry. Like I did haikus, and I recently wrote a sonnet, and yeah, I just do
Yeah,
stuff.
you've always struck me as a guy who's very prolific. You always have something new, and you're always sort of challenging yourself. And and is it because you haven't found your way of doing it, or is it because you're curious and can see the value of sort of branching out?
I think I can see the value of branching out. It's just fun and games.
Yeah.
Like I'm usually very dogmatic in my approach to poetry, so it's just I'm just looking for the dogma in a way.
What do you mean by that?
So, yeah, I did the haikus, for instance. I did a poetry collection called Digte November, where I did 2 sections of 12 lines. And for each 12 lines, I had to flip the topic in a new way. And I always started my process by thinking about what other people would write,
Mm,
and then I didn't.
mm,
Like that was just I just wanted to be I wanted to do something different, not like being original or snooty or anything. I just wanted to. It was a challenge,
yeah.
figuring out new ways to do the work. For example, I have a poem called handiwork, I think, which it's two parts. The one part is about my friend who got three fingers cut off in an accident where he was supposed to be a carpenter or something, and there was an accident, and he like lost three of his fingers. So that was the one part, and I didn't expect for anyone to like take handiwork and write about someone losing their fingers. And the other part was about how easy men are to satisfy because you only need to give them a hand job and
Dude.
then they're satisfied. Yeah. So I don't think people wrote about losing fingers and happy endings. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's probably new for poetry, at least,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
when you talk about dogma, you talk about the conventions, the rules of different types of poetry, and saying, well, I can do that as well. I can follow the rules of haiku. I can follow the rules of the sonnet, and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a fun way to do it. Like I last week I was reading at a climate festival. So I dug through all my things to find all the poems I have written about climate. It was surprisingly many.
Yeah.
And then the thing with the sonnet, it wasn't just writing a sonnet; it was writing a sonnet for the climate change festival with lines from all the poems I was reading at the festival.
Okay.
So, so it was like summing up the like my whole set at the end.
Right. When did you start with poetry? Reading it and then writing it?
I kind of did last year.
Yeah.
Like I had a conversation with my friend's dad at his 40th birthday, and we were talking about Zen Buddhism and haiku poetry. And it was just like a good conversation. And then a month later, I had written 8 haikus. So it just happened. But like I've been doing Danish rap since the beginning of the millennium.
Okay.
So I've always like been writing. Like I think I've been writing rap since the end of the end of the millennium or something.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing that I actually, yeah, again, being dogmatic, I decided to, or I didn't decide to, it just happened to be that I totally abolished rhyming in my poems. And like a couple of months ago, I just realized that I have this whole toolkit that I kind of decided not to use. And I was like, why should I buy new tools when I already have like a vast selection of things I can do? So I started integrating, like consciously integrating rhyming in my poetry, but in a subtle way and in a funny way. Um, I have this rhyme I use in one of my poems where I said, I'm pooping out poems on stages from my hometown to Copenhagen. So I rhymed pooping on stages on Copenhagen,
Right.
like just to do something.
Right.
And on that note, for some reason, my poems in English always have like some kind of Armageddon doomsday thing or poop.
Right. See, that's called scatology. Scatting
Yeah.
is something that has to do with poop. You know,
Mhm.
scat. I don't know, the jazz scat bobbity boobity bop, if that has anything
Yeah.
to do with that type of scatting. But eschatology, if I'm not so scatology is the study of excrements, right? But
Ah,
eschatology with a E in front is the part of theology concerned with death, judgment, and the final destiny of the soul and of humankind. And I thought about that when I saw you on stage once, and you said I
yeah,
do rhymes about doomsday and shit, and I was like, well, that's scatology, eschatology. There was like a little
yeah.
nice little sort of association my mind made when you, because in many ways it's the same, right? The
Yeah,
Greek root of both words is the same, right? It has something to do with something that finishes or comes out or is not the same anymore.
that's actually very interesting.
Well, it's me and my academic
Uh,
brilliance over here. You know,
oh
sometimes I
yeah,
like to help people with my own
no, but like
nonsense.
it's interesting that you can make that connection.
Yeah,
That actually, I think of it as two different things, and you're telling me it's kind of the same.
yeah.
Um, and I wasn't like that's something I need to think about. Um, so I'll think for a minute, and then I have a question for you
Wow.
because what you do, yeah, because one of the like the things like you said, me being on stage had this connotation for you, and I was thinking how much of your philosophy, like your background being an academic, you actually use in your writing.
Um, I've always, I think one of my greatest strengths is my ability to associate, to make sort of connections between things that might not seem connected. Um,
Hmm.
and I kind of developed that. It's almost like free jazz. In the
Hmm.
genre free jazz, you also kind of have to keep jamming on what the other people are playing and what you're playing without necessarily having a strict recipe for what you have to do, right? I think Miles Davis said that there aren't any wrong notes because all notes are dependent on the notes that come after. So
Mm.
I've always loved associations and stuff, and in many ways with, so I have a degree in philosophy and I do script writing. So it's like fiction
Hmm.
and philosophy that are my two real passions in life. And some people see the connection immediately. When I say that it's philosophy and
Hmm.
fiction, some people say, oh, that makes sense. Though they're both sort of uh, pursuits of creating meaning and making
Hmm.
sense of things, and morality plays into it, and reality as well, perceptions and whatnot. And then other people
Hmm.
don't see the connection, and they have to get sort of persuaded a little bit or convinced that it's not a complete waste of time. But
I think like we actually had this conversation like first time we met
probably, yeah,
about this that we both have like a degree in philosophy
yeah,
and like we utilize this in different ways.
yeah. I found that even among my peers, the people that I studied philosophy with were all very different. It's
How
actually quite
different?
well different in the ways we use philosophy, what aspects of philosophy we find interesting, how we are as people, in the sense that I'm incredibly open and curious. You know, I haven't yet found any principle or rule that's really worth following, if it makes
Hmm.
sense. Like, I'll always
Yeah.
be a child. I'll always be searching and trying new things, where other friends of mine are very set in their ways and kind of figure, oh, this is the way to go. I'm a Platonist, or I
Mm.
followed the car to the letter. And
Did you ever like when you were studying philosophy? I know I did. Like you fall in love over and over again with a new philosopher. Like every time you read a new philosopher, I get like, woo, this is it.
yeah, so every time
Yeah, this
every
guy.
time a new
Yeah,
every time you read a new philosopher, you're like, oh yeah, this makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
kind of, yeah.
This is the guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is the guy. This must be the guy I can
yeah.
follow. Yeah, I, I've got my graduate's degree back in 2020, and I've become a way better philosopher after studying, in the sense that I had to do it myself and I had to sort of sharpen in on certain things and broaden out in other areas. And
How do you do this
well,
broadening out?
a lot of it is you got to self teach in a sense. You
Mm-hmm.
can take courses. I've take online courses just to repeat what I already know,
Mm.
history of philosophy or whatever. They're great, both old and new shows on YouTube. I'd recommend. There's an old, I think it was a BBC program called The Great Philosophers with Brian McGee, and
Mm-hmm.
he invites famous philosophers of the 20th century to talk about aspects of the history of philosophy. You can find it all on YouTube. The Great
Oh, nice.
Philosophers with Brian
Yeah.
McGee, a great program. And like once every year, I'll just go through the playlist and sort of hear Martha Nussbaum talk about whatever, or it's like it's people you'll know from your studies that talk about it.
Do you know this podcast called Philosophize This?
Yeah, yeah, that's very
He's
popular, incredibly
yeah,
popular.
but
Yeah,
he's really like he's great in explaining things,
yeah,
and he has like a great way of comparing and putting philosophers in a historical context,
yeah,
which is something that I usually missed
mm,
because you just read the texts
yeah.
like and have the terms and their
But
way of thinking.
didn't you have a history of philosophy as well?
No, because the like I have a degree in business administration and philosophy.
Okay.
I'm a Copenhagen business school guy.
Oh no! No, that's fine. Listen,
Yeah,
that's fine. That's
but it
okay,
was
dude.
but like that's pretty cool because we used it to talk about creation of organizations
Mm,
based on philosophies. Like an example is Deleuze,
mm,
where we talked about how these machines work inside the organization and
mm,
everybody is affected by each other and there's like this network or this root system that goes across things, for instance. So it's very very cool to have this perspective that wasn't directly business oriented,
yeah,
but still based, like very based in philosophy.
yeah.
We had, for instance, macroeconomics,
Mm-hmm.
where most of it was either breaking down all the economic schools or talking about gift economy and what's it called? In Danish, it's called goping, like where they talk about how money is made and stuff like that. The
Yeah.
guy who I can't remember what it's called in English. Like it started in Britain or something. But the guy who made the Danish version of it
Yeah.
was the guy who taught
Paying
me.
good money.
Yeah, how it's called. Uh, oh fuck, I can't remember. Anyways, maybe it'll come to me. But the guy who started the Danish branch was the reason why I started like the bachelor in this, because he was one of the professors and he was the guy we had in macroeconomics.
Yeah.
So that was like, it was a complete different approach to economics and business administration.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
I had yeah, like I've just had my education in philosophy and script writing, so we really got around different subjects: epistemology, ontology,
So it was
ethics.
both like script writing and philosophy.
Yeah, script writing was like a subject next. No, no, it wasn't like a thing. That was like my secondary. That was my minor, I
Yeah,
guess.
your minor. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Um, but I love history of philosophy. I've always been sort of like a closet historian because it just makes so much sense to understand how things
Mm.
work at a macro level.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting to see how philosophy develops and how one thought sort of lays the groundwork for the next thoughts and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that was really cool. But like I've thought about, like, because you, like, I have like an approach to things where you challenge subjects
Yeah.
and do something else. I talked to one of my friends actually before we started this, and I told her that on International Women's Rights Day, you got up on stage and said some, like, men has had opinions on this or said things about this so many times, so I won't. And you just stood there for like 5 minutes without saying anything. Genius. Like, it was just, I was like, wow, that's like so clever thinking, like to just underline your own point.
Thanks. I've found that it's easier to I've always been a transgressive guy, meaning that to me there's a lot of value in talking about boundaries, pushing boundaries, finding out exactly what is true for us, for you and me, and what is just like a rule that our parents made or whatever.
Yeah,
And obviously sometimes you get burnt. Sometimes people don't want to get challenged. They like the
yeah,
principles, they like the conventions. But I found the best way for me to be transgressive and make fun of things that we all sort of do automatically is by being a bit of a fool. If I
yeah,
present myself as an idiot, then it's way easier for people to laugh at it instead of being arrogant or thinking I know everything or sort of portraying myself as the Socratic teacher. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I did that.
You told me at some point that you don't write poetry. You just challenge the subjects,
Yeah,
like some sort of, yeah,
that's a douchebag
something like that.
statement as well. I'm surprised I said that, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, that's obviously I do write poetry. I can tell you that. I can tell the listener I do write poetry. I'm not a fraud, but
No,
but
but that's not your angle. You're
yeah,
not seeing yourself directly as a poet.
no, no,
You're
no. I,
more
that's
writer.
right. That's right. And also, when I look at my poems and I look at your poems, I can see you have conventions and you understand the tradition and what works in another way than I do. I just like to write out sentences and then sort of format them to look like a poem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
But there aren't any golden rules. Like, you aren't supposed. Luckily, with this art form, there isn't one right way to do it. If you've written something down and you have someone else to listen to it or read it, then you've got a poem. It's actually quite easy.
yeah. True. About this being dogmatic, I like this week. I realized why all my poems are short,
Mm.
and it's because I still write verses. I still write like a
Rap
rap
verses.
verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's still 16 bars,
Mm.
12, 20 bars.
Mm.
Like, so that's my new challenge. It's writing long form poetry.
Yeah.
That's fucking difficult. Like,
Yeah. How are you gonna go about that? Changing it?
I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
You know, just when I when I when I feel the need to stop, I need to continue. Like, that's I just need to push the boundary and see what happens.
Yeah.
I have like I don't think that my idea is that the things I write on the other side of the 16 bars will be bad.
Mm.
It's just a place where I stop.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah. It's a
like,
comfort zone.
yeah. So I just need to do something
Do
else.
you like writing poetry?
Definitely. Like, I always, when I did rap, it was like I forced myself to take my ideas and make them into bars, like have the rhyme schemes and whatnot. And now I can just take my ideas and just tell them,
Yeah.
Now I can just, I don't have to transform my idea or put it in some kind of box. I can just, um, it's more free flowing.
Mm.
And that's like so liberating to be able to do so. And it transforms into that I write even more than I did before. Like, because now I can just write, and that's delightful in a way.
So you don't get constipated?
Nope. As I say in one of my poems, I have a decent digestion.
Yeah.
I just like it's in one of my Danish poems. I say that if I get a writer's block, I need to read.
Okay.
Like, because then the tank of words
Yeah.
is empty.
I subscribe to that as well, Alex. I'm also
Yeah.
if you don't read, how can you write? If you
Yeah.
don't eat your meat, how can you have your pudding? I'm always reminded of like Werner Herzog, read, 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 read. He says it's so important that you get stuff in so other stuff can come out. And it's sort of, I can see how it fits in your scatology model in the sense that you can only shit out words if you ingest other people's words before it.
Yeah, exactly. But at the moment, I'm not reading that much English. So I'm going to change that. I actually just decided to change that. So I'm going to read an English. I started reading an English book today.
Which one?
Do you know the book Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste? Just a second.
Go get it, my boy.
Yeah, that is right here. She's called Celeste N.G. I can't remember how to pronounce it.
Is it Wen? Is it a Vietnamese name? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Sure, I think it is.
It's backwards. Yeah, and it's a book about 3 sisters, I think.
Yeah.
That's also a thing that I do. A new challenge or an old challenge is writing from a woman's point of view.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Just to be, do you remember the poem I have? That's what she said. Mm-hmm. Like that's like just acknowledging the challenges of
that's
women.
One of your interactive poems where you ask the audience beforehand to say, well, after every second line, you have to say that's what she said.
Yeah. And then it's like about this being the maid and the hooker and the, I can't remember, whatever, but like the lover, the maid, and the, I can't, anyways, but it started with, like, if you can see here in the back, I'm writing a novel, so this is like I'm mapping out the novel. And I have more than one female in the book.
Right.
And I try to write humans.
Right.
I'm not writing characters or personas or anything. I'm writing a person.
Right.
So I had this workshop where I was the only man, and so I asked, "Can you mention a man who's good at writing women?" So I can get some inspiration. Like that was my thought, that I wanted inspiration, so they could like give me some. And they just like a choir said no. And I was like, okay, challenge accepted. I'm gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
But but it's
What thoughts have you
it's
have you had about it so far? Like, how will you be this guy?
but like just I all the humans that I write in my book are unapologetic. Like they're just I'm not judging them in any way. You just see and hear their actions. Like there's a narcissist, there's a female bartender, like her experiences with people in the bar. There's a business lady who exploits men. So she's like taking advantage of these men and having sex with them when she wants.
Hmm.
So, and there's like this narcissistic, spiritual, tantric woman, like, and she's a hoot, that's for sure. It's unapologetic. So she's like, she just has this main character syndrome,
Right.
like just or main character energy,
Mhm.
and again being unapologetic.
Don't apologetic people exist in this world?
Yeah, they do, but like unapologetic in I'm not making excuses for them. I'm not
Right.
analyzing. Like that's more what I mean by unapologetic.
Sure.
I'm not gonna judge them in any way.
Yeah.
They are the person they are.
Yeah.
And because the book takes place within 10 days, like there nobody evolves or learns anything
Yeah.
because like you can't do like I can't change in 10 days,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So when I
Well,
describe the book,
I would say then that some people change more in 10 days than other people change in 10 years.
oh yeah, true.
I
But
mean,
like in this instance, it's more like it's like people who interconnect in different ways in
yeah.
these 10 days. Some even they don't know they affect each other. So I like it's a Tarantino usual suspects kind of thing. Like where you get parts of the story and then later on you get other parts of the story.
Yeah. Is
One
it?
of the character is a cab driver.
Yeah.
So you hear what happens in a situation, and then afterwards you hear what the cab driver experienced.
Right. Listen, I'm thinking of Rashomon, the Kurosawa film, and
Yeah, which one?
Rashomon is
Oh,
the one where there's a crime that happens, a murder or a rape, and then all throughout the film you see different points of view on what happened.
I need to know.
And
Send me the title afterwards.
I can do that, Rashomon, and
Yeah.
then like if you like stories that are that have this sort of slice of life, people interact, people in the big city stuff. There's uh, High Maintenance, which is like an HBO show. It's about a weed dealer who bikes around New York City, and each episode sort of shows his clients.
I think I've seen some of it actually.
Yeah, and then also New York, I Love You, or Paris Je t'aime, which is like these two feature films that are anthologies of short films, and also has
Yeah,
this sort of slice of life stuff. Uh,
yeah. There's also a TV show about this, right?
could be.
And I just wanted to say, like, when I explain the book,
Yeah.
like people ask, "What is it about?" I usually say it's about people who aren't well getting worse.
Right, that's nice. That's a good little
Like it's like there's
yeah.
no, and my book has no happy ending
Yeah.
or nothing. It just ends at some point.
What you say to put to people is what we call a log line. It's sort of
Yeah,
what you'd see on the poster, right? A story
yeah.
about people. What is it again? What did you say? People about
People who doesn't feel well getting worse
getting
or something
worse,
like
right?
that. Yeah.
But you could also practice a pitch like that's. And now I'm getting really into like school stuff, but
Yeah.
I've had so many hours trying to sort of condense your story in the shortest sentence possible.
I have the book begins and ends with the same sentence.
Okay.
So I think that would be the log line, which is you can't live your life in fear.
Right.
So the book starts with someone saying this to a person, and it ends with someone else saying it to another person.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah, I just thought that would be fun
Is
in
it
a way,
difficult to write a novel?
maybe. I don't
Maybe.
know.
You don't know?
Yeah, uh, I think the difficult part is deciding to write. Um, like I have this Hemingway ish esque approach to it where I write for an hour. Every time I
You
write
write
for an hour.
drunk for an hour and then you edit sober?
Yeah, kind of. But I write for an hour.
Yeah.
That's like my way of doing it because a lot of people have like, oh, I need to write 1,000 words or whatever, and I just think it's silly because then you need to beat yourself up if you didn't, like if you just didn't have it in you
Yeah, but Alex,
to
some
write.
people are Catholics. Some people really work better with the stick than the carrot. What's important is that
Yeah,
you found a model that works for you. Who cares what
true.
everyone else is doing? You know what I mean?
For me, it's like sometimes I write 500 words,
Yeah.
and it's because I start the hour and suddenly I need to research something.
Yeah.
Like so I make sure that the thing I'm writing about has the substance that I'm looking for. And you know, suddenly if I had to write 1,000 words, then I needed to write in for 2 hours because I had to do research in the middle of it.
Is
Like,
it is it a
and
different
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah, just go.
Is it a different process than when you write poems?
Yeah, because poems just show up. Like I will have one sentence in my mind, and that will be like the catalyst for everything else.
Okay.
I write poems like on a whim,
Right.
kind of like uh, I don't think and I don't edit, or I do edit. Like I take my poems, I write them, and I don't edit. Then I read them aloud, like on stage at Poetry Unleashed
Yeah.
or somewhere, and then I will notice that I stumble over words, and I will know that I need to change something.
Yeah. That's a ballsy approach. I think many of us don't do it that way. Many of us have a feeling that it has to be not perfect, but at least somewhat digestible for people. You
Yeah,
involve us in your process. You say this is part of my writing is that I perform it on stage, and and you know, and I guess your audience has to know as well that this is just how it is. You know, you don't present
they
them a
don't know.
finished. Yeah. Do you ever finish a poem? Then is my follow-up question. Are they ever finished?
Yeah, because they just like I stop writing at some point, and then it's just that's it. I think the only time that I continued a poem was for Poetry Unleashed, where the poem I had written for the first time, I expanded on. Like I did a different section,
Mm.
so it was twice as long next time I showed up. Maybe I should read that at the end. It's called
Let's do that now, Alex, if you want.
but it's called Ain't Nobody Got Time for That.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Guess what? We have time for it right now.
And it's one of my I'm my binder with all my poems because otherwise I will just throw them all over the place. A thing that I would say about my poetry is that I write my productivity or my output is so vast that, for instance, yesterday I was hosting one of my events, and I found a poem that I didn't remember I wrote.
Sorry, can you tell us real quick about this event you hosted?
It's called pop-up poesy, like a pop-up. So I do these all over the city, where I just find a venue. I write like every day, kind of. I write some venue or restaurant or something and say, "Hey, do you want to do a poetry event with me?" And sometimes they say yes. Sometimes they say, "Tell me more." Sometimes they don't answer. But I'm just casting a wide net and seeing what happens. Um, yeah, so I just do stuff all the time. I publish poetry, and yeah, I just do stuff. That's the advantage of being on sick leave.
Yeah.
Like, you can just try stuff.
Is that, do you have to be on sick leave to try stuff?
I just have so much time.
Right.
I don't have a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all right. Um, so that's like my. I take it as an advantage.
Sure.
Like, I can't I can't recommend being on sick leave with a depression, but that's not something I'll be like, do this. It's a great idea.
Get depressed. But
yeah,
it's
exactly.
the solution you want.
But yeah, but I just I've been doing this always, and I feel like the things that like the pieces are clicking um, at the moment. So I'll just continue the puzzle. Like, I did my first event when I was 12, so I just continued. I've always made events. I've always been writing. Funny story. I When I was 17, I saw something in the local newspaper, in the police report, where they said something about, like, someone had seen a black man standing by a house, and they would recommend people that if they saw a black man standing by a house, they should call the police. And I was like, what the fuck? So, like, I wrote what is it called? Læserbrev. Do you know what it's called?
Yeah. Yeah. What is that? Just like you sent a letter to the newspaper, right?
Yeah, and they published it,
Yeah.
where I was like, hey, this can't be right.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of racist. And the editor commented on it the next week. Like, he wrote me back in the paper,
Yeah.
and whenever he said something, and I said something, and he said something, and I said something, like, I was like battling
Right.
the editor
Yeah.
in the local newspaper,
Yeah.
and it actually turned into that the police report got removed from the paper.
Whoa, holy shit. So you've been breaking people's balls and making a societal change since you were a teenager.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
But I was like, so yeah, I've always been writing, and I've always been like challenging stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was battling a 70-year-old man, calling him a child.
Yeah. And winning.
And winning. I called him infantile,
Mhm.
and then he wrote me back saying, "You can't call me infantile. Like, I'm 70 years old." And I was like, "Well, then stop acting like a child." That was the clapback,
Alex, can you read us a poem of yours, please?
Yeah, of course.
And then tell us where we can buy your stuff, please, afterwards.
Oh yeah. So, like I said, the poem is called "Ain't Nobody Got Time for That." Armageddon is coming, not in the Bruce Willis, Liv Tyler kind of way. For real though, life isn't like the movies or the greatest fiction of all time. We might be on the precipice of complete, utter doom, and ain't nobody got time for that. Christmas is looming in the distance, and then there's the January sale. It's Black History Month, Pancake Day, International Women's Day, Steak and Blowjob Day. So Armageddon is just gonna have to wait until we're goddamn ready. So that was the first part that I wrote. And then next time I read this part, and then I read the other part that I like the continuation. So Armageddon must wait. We're too busy destroying our own habitat for some divine intervention, rapture, or whatever. I don't know who God think they are, but they are not the boss of me. That's for sure. We have our aspirations and functions to attend to. I didn't agree to be a plus one just for Armageddon to ruin a perfectly planned weekend, whining and dining. At least the least God could do was ask us if we had other plans. They're so rude, forcing their son on us and all that. And now Armageddon, ain't nobody got time for that. So once again, Armageddon and critiquing religion
Right.
and contrasts and whatnot.
Thank you very much for that, Alex. Where can people
You're
find
welcome.
your social media, and where can we buy your poems?
I actually just think people should find me on Instagram. It's called my Instagram is called Dictpics. Uh,
We'll link it. We'll link it
DIGTPICS.
downstairs. D I G
Just so
T
people,
P I C S. Yeah, dick pics.
yeah, and not what you thought it was.
Yeah.
So Nico, before we end, I feel this is the end, my friend.
Yeah.
Tell us where can we find you? What are you doing? How what are you up to? Where can we find your scripts?
I the last month I went on a date. I had a great interview with our friend Phelan, and I had to go to a date. That's going very well.
Cool.
Uh,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It is going quite well. We are now an item. Me and this person. I'll try to bring her so the rest of you poets can see her. I can show her around. And
Cool.
I've had a little scene picked out at a theater a few weeks ago.
Nice.
There were 7 scenes that all had to deal with the theme of afterlife, whatever that means. And all the scenes talked about death in some capacity, but I'd written about an unemployed poet who goes to a meeting with his unemployment counselor down at the job office, and how he just can't stand this fucking person. And it was a beautiful experience. People laughed. People thought it was funny. It was one of those write what you know moments.
Mm,
So I do different stuff. I'm gonna host Poetry Unleashed on Saturday, the 13th of September. I hope to see you there as well. That's gonna be a blast.
I'm gonna say something. I'm not sure I'll arrive because I have the reception for my new book the same day in like in my hometown. But I almost finished a poem for the day.
Okay.
I need to do some changes and continue whatever I did. Um, because I like the topic is
Spirit.
the spirit, yeah. And I brushed upon the Catholic Church thing. And I just realized how generic that is. So,
Why? What do you
so
mean?
it's like I say something about being touched by the spirit, but not in the Catholic way.
Right.
I think, like, I'm sure that more than one will have a similar angle.
Yeah.
Like, you weren't there the last time, where at the anniversary, but like eight people had a poem thanking Arena. Like,
Mm-hmm.
at the end, she
Mm-hmm.
couldn't bear it anymore.
Right.
She was like, "Aha!"
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I just want to do something else.
But maybe I'll see you there. Maybe I won't. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Congratulations on the reception for the book. That's huge.
Oh, thank you. I also have another reception in Copenhagen on the 26th.
Okay.
So I just say something
Go
about
ahead.
my book? Yeah. So it's called Sensuac, a work of senses. It's a collection of haiku. Again, I left it up to the reader what was in the poetry collection. I wrote about 20 haikus a month for a year, and people voted on which haiku I was reading every month. And these poems that people chose are the ones that's in the collection. But yeah, so the book is all white, and it's like debossed the title in it. So you need to feel the title,
Cool.
or focus your eyes and twist it or something to see actually what the title is. At the reception, I'm gonna read the poems so you can hear them. I'm gonna at the back page. I'm gonna squash lavender in it so you can smell the book, and then I'm gonna do a cake with my logo
Mm-hmm.
so you can also taste. So I'm gonna I'm gonna do all senses at the reception
Right.
because why not?
Is it an open
I
reception?
Yeah,
Where is it?
yeah. It's at the gamle posthus, the old post office
Right.
in Sydhavn.
Okay.
Um, it's gonna be all fun and games. I'm gonna read some stuff and do silly things, maybe juggle
And it's
or
on the 13th of September. So people who
no.
listen
It's
to
on the
this,
26th.
okay, on the
The
26th.
one in the old yeah, yeah. The like again, pooping out poems from my hometown to Copenhagen.
Yeah.
So of course I'm doing a reception in my hometown.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Also, plug. I'm doing a poetry thing for Halloween, the 31st of October. It's gonna be amazing. I just found out what my costume is gonna be. I'm gonna wear a white suit with red paint splattered on the back.
You're gonna be
I'm gonna have a white suit with
yes.
red paint splattered on the back.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I need to do silly stuff
Yeah.
all the time. Challenge.
Are you gonna? Maybe you should have like hygiene products in your pocket as well. So when the girls see it, they're like, "Hey, wait, do you have a tampon or something?" And you're like, "Of course I have. Look at me."
Oh yeah, I could have the strings from the breast bucket.
For example, yeah,
That would be cool, actually.
yeah,
Or have them sticking up. I don't know.
yeah.
Either
Just so you
way.
have hygiene products and different sizes for the different
Or have
days.
yeah. Oh, that would be cool.
Listen, Alex, I feel it's time to wipe and flush. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Thank you very much, my friend, for coming on board the podcast Unleashed. I'm gonna leave all the your deets downstairs. People can see it.
Yes.
Check out his book reception on the 26th. Please come to Den Lille on the 13th at 8 o'clock for our next Poetry Unleashed event. I'm gonna host. The theme is spirit, and yeah, thank
And
you so
Nico, I
much.
just want to say
Yeah,
thank you for sharing.
Sharing is
You talked a
sharing
lot
is
about
caring.
yourself.
You know.
You talked a lot about yourself, which actually was my mission for this interview.
Thank you
Great
very much.
success.
That's
Mission accomplished.
I'm just here to host, but thank you very much. But thank you for sharing as well, Alex. I wish you all the best in the future, and I'll see you soon.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.